Question for you guys.
Yep.
If a professional, no, not a professional, if a world-renowned kazooist came to your church, would you let them lead worship?
So that's Hustle Man from Martin. Pick up the pieces.
He just started. He just started Martin.
So I just started watching Martin.
What?
I'm halfway through episode 2.
You did say that. I remember
just
that.
started on Saturday.
He don't know about bruh, man. He don't know.
Wait till you meet Hustle Man.
Yeah.
So I've just met Shanae. The number?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so yeah, so
Yeah. So a kazooist leading worship. You know, I'm conflicted because I'm be honest, I probably don't want to hear kazooist during worship. It's probably gonna throw me off and I'm gonna laugh.
Is it just 30 minutes of him soloing worship?
No. Like there's there's the songs and everything, but every once in a while there's the like,
See, that's wild because but I don't want to say that God can't use a kazoo because he can use anything. He can use the kazoo. Like the kazoo will have you laid out in worship, probably laying prostrate. Like how we know David didn't have something like a kazoo.
Right.
That's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
And I think of that because my daughter Lily, love her to death, but she wants to be a kazooist. I don't know what kazooologist. I don't know.
That sounds about right.
But she like when we say like, hey, would y'all ever want to learn to play like music? Because also as a creative, I'm also a musician as well. Like, what do you want to learn? And she's like, I'm gonna learn the kazoo. And I'm like, just okay. So how does that tie in? And it ties into what you do should be to excellent and not perfect.
Yeah.
So how do you battle? How do you guys get over? Go around, break through, like the things that were like oh gosh, it's not perfect. How do you break through that?
Ooh, I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes that's what keeps me from like making music altogether. And when it came to like when I was doing the Underdog series for the summer days, where I was putting out a song every week, like those songs weren't perfect, but for some reason everybody was liking them. And so like after I did that, like I got burnt out, and then like somehow like the thought came in and like, oh, because that was raw inspiration, you can't do that no more if you try to like sit down and plan it out. So like that was like hard because I like, although that wasn't like perfection, it was like a certain standard that I felt like I hit. And then I did More Faith, and then that was like, all right, now people really like this. I don't know if I can surpass More Faith. And so like I still ain't came out with an album since then. But like
when's the album out? You should start off every episode. Like,
when's the album out?
When's the album out?
Episode 99, and we still have no album.
Be the SpongeBob 10 episodes later. But I think like the one thing that helps me when I have those thoughts of chasing perfection is just like being okay giving my best where I am right now, because I have to grow. I have to, like, when I look back, like when I go listen to the first songs I was making, I was using way too much reverb when I was mixing stuff and all of that. The vocals on some of them were too loud, some of them were muffled. And I'm like, dang, at that moment, I thought that was like the pinnacle of like what music was supposed to be.
And at the time it was, because that was based on your level of talent at the time.
Right, exactly. And as you grow, you got to allow yourself to have grace as you go as well. And like when you were talking about the excellence and the perfection, I think about like the lady who only gave Jesus what would basically be like, or gave, not Jesus, but gave like only like pennies as an offering. Whereas like the rich people, they didn't even give as much as they could have given. And like, yet like her gift was deemed like much more worthy. So I think like when we look at what we have, it's not about like our vision of what it's supposed to be, but giving our best and giving God, exactly what we can. Yeah.
For sure. I think it's all part of the process. I think for me, before I invited God into creativity, it was me versus me. It was my new skill that I've acquired versus the old skill. But throughout the process, I've just learned that it's all a journey. You know, I'm a perfectionist. When I create, I plan out every step, everything. And if it's not the way I envision it, I lock it up in a shelf. And I'll be like, you know what? I may come back to this later because I've not learned how to master. I couldn't draw hands to save my life at one point. I can draw hands, but it's gonna take me a little minute. Not like I can do head, shoulders, neck, and everything, and just knock that out. But it's all a part of the process. And even when I teach art to my students, or when I did teach art, I always tell them we're looking for progress, not perfection. Because perfection, if you do it perfectly, you'll never work on the skill. You'll just kind of do it because it's you perfected it. But if you're working for progress, you're looking for imperfections and things to work on. Every piece that I've ever posted, every piece that I've ever sold, every piece that is on social media, I can find every single perfection. But you know who don't say anything about it? My audience don't have nothing to say. They just say the whole body of work is great, or this is good. You know what I'm saying? But it's me that's fiddling over the details at a showing or whatever, and I'm like, I wish I would have did. And no one else is looking at that.
Yeah. No, I've put out YouTube videos, and I go back and I'm like, I could have done this a little bit better. I could have said this differently. I could have elaborated. And it's just getting over that, just trying to get over that hump. And it cripples you to not put stuff out because you want it to be perfect, and instead you just have to put it out.
Got to.
You have to put it out. And another thing too is that if you're struggling to be, and this is gonna be a question I'm gonna ask next, but being authentic in your art, I think the best way to be authentic with your art is to release the stuff that you like. That it's so easy to chase after the trends and stuff like that. Like you can do trends in music. You can do trend, like that's where you sit, like you're like, oh, you're the Christian so and so, or you're this and that.
Yeah.
But if you just put stuff out that you like, I think that helps you kind of get over that hump of perfection, because you're just like, I just want to put this out. And gosh, the internet is so freaking big. Like you're gonna find people who love your stuff no matter what. Yeah. Like as weird and goofy as it can be, like there's gonna be stuff. Like you see the kid on TikTok, he's got the song, he's like, I want more. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
There's this kid. He's like, it's not a Christian song in the slightest. But he's like, tell the IRS to do this and to kiss my butt, and I sent a $50,000. That song, like every time I hear it come on, I'm like, I want more. Like I'm just digging it. So just and he's just this. I think he's British. I don't know, but he's putting stuff out there, and that's what I love about the internet is that there's so much ability to put stuff out and get exposure and make money. Because back in the day in high school, in the years of 2003 through 2006, for me, like you had to go the traditional route of going through a label and all that, and now like you can put anything up on TikTok and people are gonna find it and flock.
Yeah, because that's like that guy, Mouse, if you know who that is. He like makes all these songs that like they meant to be goofy on purpose.
Okay.
And he'll say something like, met a girl went to get a McChicken. It's like but he made it to like Kanye's Vultures.
Okay.
And so like that's wild that like he was like using them type of verses, but like made it to a record with Kanye. Not many people can say that. And he was just posting this stuff on like TikTok and Instagram and all of that. And I think people love authenticity because authenticity is rare.
Yeah. Well, Doja Cat was a cow.
Yeah.
Like, she started as a cow. Chicken cow. Moo.
Exactly right.
Hey, yo.
Like, it's just.
Yeah. That's how she started off. And now, like, people are, like, considering her one of the best, like, female artists out.
Which is just.
She went from cows to being one of the best. Like, that's crazy.
He's going to skip over Rhapsody.
No. I didn't say I was considering.
I know you didn't. I know everybody in this room didn't. I just always just get baffled of like, just going.
My Rhapsody, my girl Marlena, she out here riding. When you know the artist's real name, that's when you know it's real.
Yeah, because I was like, who?
Yeah, and the question and I don't know if you guys want to elaborate a little bit more on this, but the question was, I saw it pop up on Threads. And I think we're all on. Are you on Threads?
Nah,
I am not. I'm not with it.
He's not a threader yet.
I'm not with it. But I love the art style that I've seen that comes from Threads. But I think it's gonna go to your question, and I'll be one of the first to answer.
Okay. So the question that I saw, and I just completely disagree with this person, but how do you balance excellence with authenticity in your church production? So what I said is, I lost already. I said unsure if these two are to be balanced. I was unsure if these two are to be balanced. And I said excellence is a level of ability for training. Authenticity is true to a purpose.
That was it right there.
That was a late night. That was a late night thread, not a tweet. A thread.
Yeah, a thread. Yeah. See, you get this wisdom if you become a knitter.
Embroider.
I said, "What you call me?"
We need to put the audio of that Arthur. He's a knitter. My bad. Go ahead and answer though.
Yeah, I thought you were going in a different direction, so I need to get. I think your excellence is authenticity to some degree. Now I can see where you can challenge that, and your statement is 100% correct. But I believe that if it is 100% you, flaws and all, is there excellence in that?
That's fine. Yeah, true.
That's just me going to the right path. You know, I have to see the other side, and the other side for me is that if right here in this season, this is my best, isn't it excellent? That even through series, and if I'm continuing working on something and it's going to get better, I can sit back and say that right now this is excellent, or this is my best, which could equal excellence, but I know it'll get greater if I'm continuing working on my craft.
Yeah.
That's just my thought.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. And I think too it depends on like how you define excellence.
That too.
Because like is excellence the standard of what like other people would think is excellence, or is it like excellence to the standard of what you would think it is? And I'm talking about the person that was asking that question.
Yeah.
Because like excellence for them is that like nobody comes on that Sunday and says like the production was lacking something, like because you get those people after church, the mics was a little too loud today.
Those people. Let me tell you about you people who complain and cry
right
about church production. Listen, technology sucks. Sometimes, a lot of the times, I pray over the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Sometimes the Wi-Fi just sucks.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, come to church. Come be in person.
Yeah.
And it's always the people that struggle with the AV cords growing up. Like you didn't take not one AV class. You don't know how to switch from HDMI 1, 2, 3 setup. Yeah. You don't know none of that. But yet the little screech on the microphone, you got to tell. He's like, he knows. He's working on it.
The worst. I feel so bad. Shout out to the church producers out there. But if you get the look with
always. Because the thing is like if you hear the screeching, I hear the screeching.
Like we know
I'm not deaf. Like
those were the ones in class when the teacher was erasing the board and they leave a letter up and there's like you left a T. Like I'm right here with it. I see it.
I see it.
I know.
Right.
They just got to be the one to call out the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I tried to bring it back with excellence. I think it just depends on how you define excellence. Because I think like if I shoot for perfection, then it won't be the excellence. You know what I mean? Like I'll never reach excellence.
Yeah.
But I think excellence is like pretty much just like holding it to a standard of doing your best and giving the best service that you could possibly give. When you're putting these things together, whether you're creating art, whether you're doing, podcasts, whether you're doing YouTube, whether you're doing a church audio, different things like that. Like as long as you're putting the best that you can give with the tools that you've been given, then I think that's like a matter of excellence.
Yeah.
Because like when we go to restaurants, like how do you define excellence? Because like Chick-fil-A says my pleasure, but like it's weird when the people at Popeye say my pleasure. So like
it's crazy.
it's a different it's a different standard of excellence. You know, at Popeyes, it might just be that you get your food out on time, the chicken hitting that day.
Yeah,
And,
I just don't want you to run out of regular. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
see, I like the spicy.
that's yeah. You know what I'm saying? I always get there and it's like we only got spicy. I'm like, all right, just give me a 4-piece.
Just give me a 4-piece.
But regular,
yeah,
4-piece regular.
hits.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a scripture that I kind of want to tie in. And I think it just on a quick Google search, I think it's Romans 14, but it's the verse that I could be totally wrong. So it's the one where they're arguing like, oh, I'm not going to eat this meat because I think it's sin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so if you know where we're at, and so I use that verse in this context into the excellence and authenticity, kind of like going back against what you were saying. Like I agree with you, and I think in that initial post, like I use ChatGPT for everything. Like it is probably the greatest thing to ever come about.
It's fire.
But where I get convicted in is if I'm trying to put out like quick videos, I'm just like ChatGPT, like give me a script.
Yeah.
Like after I record it, I'm like, no, like I can't, because it's not me. Even though I did the inputs, they gave me the outputs. It's not me, and I just ignore it. So I try to use ChatGPT in a way that's just like, give me a basic outline of what everything I can talk about. Because you can get ChatGPT to write you up a sermon. You can go and preach that. And if you feel comfortable in that and you want to do that, that's all you. That's not me though.
Nah,
I'm not
I
gonna judge you for it.
Yeah.
Like, look, because I imagine if you're a pastor and you're busy and you're doing this, especially in a major majority, like we're not talking about the Oak Cliffs and the what's TD Jakes Church,
Potter's House.
Yeah, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the average church that you drive by in a city that's like 100 people tops. Like that pastor, they probably don't have someone full time, and so that pastor's doing everything.
Yeah.
And so if you use ChatGPT to preach a sermon, that's fine. That's cool. I'm also okay with you going up on the stage and just reading 1 Corinthians 1. Be like, all right, do what it says. See you next week. Like some people are gonna be mad about that, but I think that excellence and the authenticity goes in hand that they're together, that they're not really battling. And that was just the example that I've found that was like if it goes against just the core of who I am, I can't. That's being inauthentic to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like, you know, when they say you sell your soul, you know, not in a literal sense.
No.
Yeah, because we ain't doing that. But
yeah, OpenAI is not taking your soul, so don't worry. Well, yet.
So the ChatGPT.
If we've watched any sci-fi film, we've learned that eventually that does happen.
All right. But yeah, I think, you know, having to sacrifice your morals and different things like that, it's just like you can't be authentic doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's a pressure today to produce perfection?
I think there is.
Yeah.
I think there is. I definitely think there is a pressure to be perfect. And you hear it with everything. I mean, it's the culmination of just all social media, because you have to put out this perfect thing. But I mean, even in this, I just wanted this to be as simple as possible. Like, we got our cell phones for recording and 2 lights. And I thought about, like, do we even need the lights?
Right.
Like, I just want to make this as easy as possible.
But is it your best?
Yeah.
Is it your authentic best without the
just
lights?
Just wait till we get the... No.
Oh yeah. Once we get our set, it's about to get popping.
It's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Yep. Y'all gonna have original art on the walls and everything.
We might start a Patreon. You can give.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dude, so there's tons of stuff that we want, I think we all for this show, this thing, to be a great thing. But at the same time, I'm just like, just get it out.
Yeah.
Just do it. So when we talked about it, I was like, yeah, we could talk about it, or
we can do it.
Plan it. Be like, all right, what? Like, let's find a day. Let's get together.
The creative planner in me was like, absolutely no way. and it wasn't until like I think like an hour before we got here, and I'm like, oh snap! And I'm looking over my notes and I saw that my name was up first, and I was like, do I gotta come up with I was like, I ain't read no scriptures and everything. Like I have to plan out my creative process, and so like that's why I love like our friendships, you know, and our brotherhood, because you know y'all encourage me or challenge me to go and get me out the comfort zone. This is uncomfortable for me. I ain't planning out nothing I said today.
This couch is comfortable though.
Yes,
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to our sponsors, IKEA.
Value City.
Value City.
Value City. Use code
Value City, yeah.
eBarber for 0% off.
I will meet you there. And if it was the same person that helped us out with it, I can relate a little bit, but I cannot guaranteed any percentage off.
He can vouch for you.
Yeah, I can vouch that you are a person willing to buy the same sofa that we bought.
Yeah. You get words of encouragement at no extra cost.
I will sit there and encourage you through the whole purchasing process.
We'll pray over it. We'll bless it with oil.
Before you sign any contract, we're going to lay hands on you, the contract, and the couch, the customer service rep.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna get no oil on the couch. That's brand new.
No.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
I can't
remember. Pressure for perfection.
Oh yeah, pressure.
Yeah, pressure for perfection. I think it is. I think with social media is we filtered everything through it. It has slowly taken over our lives, you know, and I think we have gotten so good at presenting a good 45-second of our best that's not tethered to reality.
Yeah.
And we present it, and now you have people comparing their 45-second highlight to our everyday life. And we have to kind of detach from that.
Yeah. We just celebrated 12 years of marriage, me and Kristen.
Hey, congratulations.
And I was thinking all day, like, oh, I gotta type out some like big lovey-dovey thing. Just like nah. So we're at Nasu Japanese Day. I'm like, babe,
fire.
Snap a pic. Happy 12 years, boo, and just post it.
Because they're like y'all when we grow up,
right?
And even each year, our posts have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. I used to do like 4 or 5 paragraphs. You know, now like I'm like it's good for a paragraph.
Yeah, we don't love you any less.
No. But I'm not here. My first year getting married, our first year married, 12 whole year calendar. We got to the anniversary. We had this whole day. I took off work. B was off work. You know what I'm saying? We made fried chicken and waffles. We had the champagne with the mimosas. We had you know, just to join ourselves. We cooked together. We spent the whole day together. I mean, I barely touched my phone. I'm in tune. The night of our anniversary, you know what I'm saying? She was upstairs doing something. I began to work on art. It was like the end of the night. Like we're going to bed. We both got to go to work. And so I'm like, you know, I got to work on this sketch. I cannot remember what piece I was working on at the time. Maybe it was Shakira or something like that. And she comes down and she's like, you didn't post me at all today. Ooh. And I was like, but I spent the entire day with you.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, everyone, like her friends or whatever was asking, like, is everything okay? And I'm like, because I didn't post.
Yeah.
And I had to I struggle with that mightily because I'm like, I didn't get married to our collective on social media. I got married to you.
Yeah.
But that was a lesson I had to learn, that I do have to, you know, support her and be proud of her and celebrate her in public. But that was one of my first lessons as a husband. And I have a lot of those. So as we go through this, I have a whole lot of boneheaded moves I made as a husband. But that was one. But I thought it was, you know, I'm not putting stuff on social media, and it wasn't about that. But that was just my little analogy to that.
Yeah. And I think too, like with social media and things like that, like we get to this point to where we constantly are battling comparison. And I think comparison can kill creativity. And so I think a lot of times we try to be so much like the other people that we don't be our authentic selves. We sacrifice what we really want to do to be this person. Like, you know, if I'm making beats, then I'm sacrificing what Iva wants to do to be Timbaland. So like, you know, next thing you know, I got all Indian flutes in every song. And so like just stuff like that, instead of like being like you were saying, you know, good artists still, to rather like taking that and making it your own. And I think that's why like in the creative world it's stagnant a little bit. Like I feel like back in the day, people used to push creativity forward. Like there was always somebody that would do it, whether it be like a Kanye or anybody like that would push it forward. And even too, I was thinking about when I was in college, in the blog era, music was so diverse. Like you had your Kanye's and Jay-Z's and Lil Wayne's, but you also had like your A$AP Rocky, who was from New York, doing Houston influenced music, like Wiz Khalifa, who's making music for the Stoners. Like everybody had like a certain bag. You even had Childish Gambino, who's making music for like black hipsters and backpackers and things like that. But nowadays you don't really see that as prevalent as it used to be. Yeah. Like they're still out there, but they're kind of under all of the other stuff that's just like what the standard is now.
Comparing.
Yeah.
And that because of social media, you know, for me as a creator, when I first became an officially as an artist and I did it full time, I thought especially as a black artist, I thought I had to do black woke pieces that talked about the struggle or overcoming, and I really just want to draw anime and comic book content. Like
it's hard to be in the struggle on this couch.
Oh, wait.
But anyways, so anime and comic books.
Yeah, and I had to, and I'm just now getting comfortable with creating my own content or what really inspires me. Because no offense to any of the woke black content creators and things like that, because I do love their work and I will pay homage to it. It took me a long time to realize that my twist on it is needed, and I love that quote from Steve Jobs. I never heard that quote before, but I do. You know, what is it?
Good artist copy, great artist steal.
And that's something I learned, was just creating shortcuts or taking something that did, and I was like, I like what you did there, but this is how I would kind of put that spin and twist to it.
Yeah, you see it pay off for people when they do it. Yeah.
And if you're a creative, I think the only time that you are allowed to put out junk stuff is if you're chasing perfection.
Yeah.
If you want to put stuff out, but you're like, again, you're struggling with the perfection piece, put out the crap.
Yeah.
Just
you got to
put out the crap.
Do it.
I can't remember who said, I don't know if it was a famous person quote or I heard it from a teacher, but it was something to the effect of done is better than good. And it was just that idea of, you know, obviously you can put out like crappy stuff, but it's just like put the stuff out.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing. I think that's probably going to be a message you'll hear constantly from me, is just like, just put the stuff out. Just be encouraged, viewer and listener.
He's speaking to me.
Put the stuff out.
I'm about to drop some stuff on it.
Right. B girl Ray Gun. She put me in a new era, man.
Hey,
just put the stuff out.
That's real.
That's real.
Just put the stuff out. Like even I'm getting more into, I don't know. Do you guys have this problem as creatives? And maybe it could be a different episode too. But do you have the problem of like my brain never turns off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like okay.
Yep.
So it's
Oh my goodness, bro, it's bad. Like, so I've been trying to do better at taking rest days. And trying to practice the stuff from that ruthless elimination of hurry. And Sundays are my rest days. When I tell you, most of the time all I think about is making beats.
For real.
And like I'll hear something and be like, oh, I can sample that. Or like something like that. But like I'm not supposed to be making music that day because I'm supposed to be resting. And then mentally I'm just tired because I've been battling, going back and forth between resting and focusing on that. Right. So
yeah, but I made I'm gonna redact it because it's copyright infringement. But I made a piece, a pretty popular piece. It's on TikTok.
Hey.
And I revamped it to be a Christian version.
Okay.
So there's a famous cartoon of a cleaning tool that lives under the water, and he had an evil counterpart that he used a crayon to create, if you follow my drift.
Yeah.
So anyway, so all of the TikTok, this particular character is holding up like beer cans.
Yeah.
And so it's like a whole joke, and they're all copyright infringement. But that's whatever. It is what it is. And so I was looking at it, I was like, I can Jesusify that. Just make it all about Jesus. And I was going to originally do the Bible, but I was like, when I did it, I was like, I like it. But I was like, let's do the cross, because it's all about like pick up your cross daily and die to yourself and all that stuff. And it was fire. And so I printed it out, reversed it, and I called up a friend to say, hey, can I borrow your heat press to put on a shirt? And so and it was the first time I was like heat pressing a thing, and I'm like getting in the textile. I'm like, and it came out like the front came out cool, but the back was like all jacked up.
Dang.
And I was like, I like it. I can wear a jacket over it. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Just wear it as is.
Yes,
shirt.
sir.
And it was freeing, because it was, even though it wasn't to the best quality that I wanted it to, it was done.
Yeah.
And it was it like just wearing it all day just gave me the confidence. So what if it's jacked up?
Yeah.
Who cares? You got it done. And I think there's a lot of times that there's a lot of stuff that we will often, as creatives, pass up on because it's not to our standard. And so even though we're talking about excellence, that's where I would say, take your freedom to go and just do that thing.
Yeah.
Just put it out.
I agree.
That's real.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yeah. You just messed me up with that last one, because as I'm thinking about that shirt, I've thought about like all the pieces of work that I've literally balled up and literally started over. I have no problem scrapping a project and starting over, because it's not how I envisioned it. Like,
exactly, yeah.
That painstaking process, but hearing that there's a courage to that. Like it tells you, I want to say Corinthians, where Paul is saying that, where God had told him that, my glory works in your weakness. I am super butchering it up. But
That's all right.
He's not taking the thorn out your side, because I need, my glory to cover the weakness. That makes you stronger, So I'm hearing that. You're messing me up now. So yeah, I'm about to start posting stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's like the hard part, because like a lot of times I don't know what to post.
Yes.
Like Sample Tuesdays are cool because like I can do those. And
is the album done?
Soon come, bro. It's just wild doing those, but I don't want it to just be Sample Tuesdays. Like I do want the album to come out, and so figuring out how because Sample Tuesdays, they're not meant to be perfect, so it's like it's fine. Like I barely mix them, everything. I just do everything, make the beat all that one day. So I know it's not gonna be perfect, but like when it comes to like the album, that's where it's like, this is like a body of work. Like I feel like I'm putting my child on display. And so like I want my child to be looked at in the best light.
Yeah.
Don't think my child is the weird one. Like and so it's hard. But I don't know. I think that's the thing that holds me up from like putting more albums and things like that out.
You need your was it 10,000 verses? Was it Lil Wayne? 10,000 10,000 bars, something? Like where it's like it was like a mixtape of all his written stuff, and
oh yeah,
that was Wayne.
Yeah,
am I making that up? I thought I heard it in like a VH1 documentary or something.
Yeah, he had it. I don't know if it was like 10,000 verses or something, but that I believe that is Wayne.
Okay,
but if not, correct us.
Yeah, and I think too is just as well like as I'm making this stuff, like it's not in a lane that I'm used to. So it's like a little bit uncomfortable.
Ooh, a little preview.
I feel like this might be his best work, as I'm hearing how it's uncomfortable for him. And for me as a creative and me as an artist, you don't approach greatness until you get uncomfortable all the way around. And I think this is going to be that uncomfortable album for him. And I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to see.
That's why I'm like, take your time with this. I'm like, take your time, because I think this is going to be, if not, probably some of the best work he's done yet.
Yeah. And that's the hard part too, because I got to realize it's yet. Like, this could be fire today, but like I'll probably surpass it like a year or so from now. Yeah. So, it's getting to that point, because too, like this is a place to where even in the creation of the album, I'm not really listening to any other music. I mostly just been listening to audiobooks, podcasts, things like that, because I don't want it to be influenced. And I'm solely just saying, like, God, I just want you to be the inspiration behind it. So that's like weird for me, because usually I'll be learning, like when I did More Faith, I was looking at different producers like that do things like drums are kind of like my weakness. Cause I'll find like a drum groove and like put that on every track. But but like I was studying people that did drums better than me so that I could have better drums in those songs and things like that. But doing this way to where I'm just like, all right, God, it's just me and you on this album, like that's a little scary, my brother.
That's big.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, it could flop or it could be the greatest thing I ever did. But either way, I just got to put it out, like you said.
Gotta put it out.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe as we put this out, if we get, I don't know, 50 likes, a song listening session.
Yeah.
Or just blasting the music and just
that'll be fire.
jamming.
That would be dope.
The unmixed, dirty raw version.
The raw version, yeah.
I like it.
I'm down.
I like that, yeah.
Cool.
Good.
We good?
Great.
Dope.